Hey everyone, it's Gamefruitpulp, and welcome back to another Building Toronto's extra video, or extras video. In today's video, we're going to be talking a little bit about my inspiration behind starting the project and why I started where I did. It seems like a pretty odd place to start the project. If you don't know, the first building I built is this one here, the TD Spire Tower, which is part of Brookfield Place, and it seems like a pretty odd place to start this project, considering that the CN Tower and the Rogers Center are such iconic parts of the city, and or even Nathan Phillips Square. There's so many other buildings that are more iconic than Brookfield Place. Yet I started with this one, and there is a reason for it. The reasoning for it is what we're going to go over today, as well as sort of my favorite things about the project in general. And so to start, like I said, we started with Brookfield Place, and there's a pretty interesting reason why. So I don't live downtown in downtown Toronto. I was able to be downtown quite a bit during my teen years, but during my childhood, I rarely went to the downtown core, and whenever I did, it was always for a big occasion, whether it be for a Raptors game or a Leafs game when I was lucky enough to be able to go to one of those, or just to go downtown to explore, maybe even a Blue Jays game once in a while. But we never really went down as a child. I never really went down to the city for any reason other than to go watch sports. And we always used to take I'm not sure what's happening here. Always used to take the GO train down because parking's expensive and all that kind of jazz. We always used to take the GO train down to the games we used to watch, whether it be Leafs or Raptors. We went to a few Blue Jays games, but the main two were the Leafs and the Raptors. And as a kid, I was always really sort of interested in trains, and so it was always a really exciting time for me to take the train to downtown Toronto. As we were always pulling up to the station, there was always one thing that always caught my eye, and the one thing that always let me know as a child that I was arriving at downtown Toronto, and that it was time to go see the game that I was excited to be watching, whether it be Leafs or Raptors, and to be in the big city and be in this place that to me was so foreign and so exciting. And that was the TD Spire Tower. It was never the CN Tower. It was never any of the other buildings. It was always this building here. The illuminated green TD logo at the top as the train rolled into Union, and the conductor, or the what I forget their name, but the person in the train that told you what station you were at started going over the long list of things that you had to do at Union Station. I always sort of tuned it out and was just focused on the shining green neon light of the TD Tower. And so that's why when I decided I wanted to start this project, I was drawn immediately to this building. And it is my favorite building in the city, and it's not really because I think it's necessarily the most beautiful or the most architecturally unique, because it is I think a nice building, a beautifully designed building, but there's lots of other buildings in the city as well that I think are quite beautiful and quite well designed and of a style that I'm more I would say interested in. But the reason I had to start with this building in my mind, the reason that I built it so many times, is that this building holds such a significance for me that I felt that it was only fair and it only did it justice. And so, although it seems like a sort of insignificant building in the city for the most part, I mean, I think everyone knows generally when somebody talks about the TD Tower in Toronto, most people know what building you're talking about. But compared to the CN Tower, the Rogers Center, Scotiabank Arena, Nathan Phillips Square, those are more iconic builds to the city, more historic builds, even the Flatiron building, which obviously we have in the map. But that doesn't necessarily mean that other buildings don't hold just as much significance. And I think that is sort of an interesting thing with the project, and a reason that we choose to build every single build in the city. We don't skip over little irrelevant builds, like for example for this one, to build the next thing over, because you never know what building is going to be significant for somebody else. For me, as a child growing up, the TD Spire Tower was always a reminder of the big city and the excitement that awaited when we arrived. But for somebody else, it could be something completely different. And so the goal of the project really is to try and capture or reignite those memories of the city of Toronto and those great things that people have done in the city that really makes the city what it is. The stories, the memories that people have in the city is why people from outside keep coming back, why people want to come and visit the city to make new memories and to relive the old ones. And so I thought I would just share a little sort of unique story for me personally about the city and why I wanted to build this TD Spire Tower. I am a huge Toronto sports fan. That's not something I really talk about much on my channel. Love the Maple Leafs, but who knows, maybe one day they'll win the cup and we can build a little Stanley Cup somewhere in the map. But that is really that. And I think I wanted to try and do something a little bit different and give you guys a little bit of personality, a little bit of well, I'd like to think all my videos have personality, but to give you guys a little bit of background on me as an individual and my sort of connection to the city, and a little bit of a different style of video, not really to focus on the history of the city or anything like that. But let me know what you guys thought about it. I mean, I'm more than happy to sort of talk about little things like that again in the future. And I figured it was an interesting video because it is a question I got quite a few times as the project gained popularity. Why TD Tower? Why is that the building you chose to start with? Because like I said, there is so many other buildings that are just as relevant as this one, or more relevant, like the Fairmont for one. And I think that it was only fitting to sort of give an explanation as to why. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're new to the channel and you enjoyed, you should have hit that subscribe button and check out the Building Toronto playlist where I showcase each of the builds in the city, explain a little bit about their architecture, their construction, and what they do, what the building's used for in the city today. Yeah, I mean, this is in a different, like I said, this is a very different style of video for me. I don't usually open up much in these videos. I usually just sort of talk about the content that is being featured rather than the story, any personal stories behind it. So let me know what you guys thought about this. And I'll see maybe if you enjoyed it, maybe we'll do something similar in other videos in the future. But if you're a returning viewer and you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and share the channel with some of your friends so that we can continue growing the channel. We're halfway through a couple of projects on the map, so hopefully those will be done soon and I can showcase those. And we're still working on rescaling. We've got a few blocks to go. Fairmont is one of them, and the other East End block is going to be difficult. But anyways, that's for another time. Thank you guys very much for watching. My name is Gamefruitpulp, and I'll catch you guys all next time. Have a good one.